You know, when you think about it, chums, there can be nothing more mysterious than these two. That's right, Lilibet, or Lily, Princess Lily, and of course Prince Archie, which of course now Meghan really likes to refer to in their full titles, having decided that her heritage is something nice to be shared, you know, the name of Sussex, and that's caused a lot of confusion, but it's quite simple really as to why they've decided to do this. And in particular for Meghan Markle herself, she sees this apparently as a new strike. The problem is, and this is why it's not going to work in fact for Meghan, is that that's what she's known by. You know, it would be a little bit like Madonna suddenly putting her second name to her name, because people simply know her as a brand. It's Madonna. Meghan is known as either by Meghan or indeed as Meghan Markle. Certainly won't be as ever Meghan, you know, whatever she decides to do. But of course it's the stories that now infiltrate from the situation, shall we say, behind the scenes of her Netflix series, which are fascinating to say the least. As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you today, and as ever, thank you so much for joining me and taking the time out as I sit here on the back of, once again, a big red London bus, as you can see, permanently in, you know, slow, because we have a 20 mph, all thanks to this current mayor of London, right? So wherever you go, there's roadworks and there's slowing down. I would say, and I feel sorry for a lot of people regarding this, if you come to London, do try not to use a black cab, seemingly because they're as frustrated as the rest of us. They can't get about town, and because of this 20 mph thing, it really can cost you a fortune. And I don't mean that negatively against the black cabs. I'm a big supporter, but even they've said to me it's killed their business. Shocking really when you think. It's a little bit like this particular story that I wanted to share with you, because as we often say here on the show, you know, sort of truth is stranger than fiction, or whichever way around it is. When you look at somebody like Meghan Markle, she permanently recasts herself in a different story each and every time. You know, very willing to share her children on her Instagram feed, social media pages, as and when it suits her, of course, to basically sell product. And that's really what she was trying to do. Sell her brand, sell her, you know, influencer lifestyle. I mean, if you saw the video at the end when she launched it, she just, oh, my new business. And you think, well, no, not really, love. It's a few pots of jam, but there you go. Now, here's again where it gets really fascinating, because as I told you recently, behind the scenes, there were certain things where some of the people on the show for the Drew Barrymore show, similar to the Sunday morning show that she did for CBS, they were hopeful that they were going to get, you know, some pictures of Archie or Lily just to be able to put up on screen, that sort of stuff. No go, no show, no money, you get the picture. So this particular story was fascinating in itself, seemingly because, you see, what happened was, and what's now Meghan has said literally on camera, is that she was thrilled for her children to be able to come to the set of her cooking show as ever with Meghan, because finally they got to see what Mummy did, you know, when she was working. Hardly call it working, would you? But of course they were too young, too little, and still too little to see her in her only real success, that was Suits. Of course, you know, she still talks about that at every opportunity because there's very little else. But here's where it gets really interesting, because the sort of team that were working on this particular show seemingly don't have any recollection of Prince Harry bringing any children to that particular shoot. Now, they did remember some children there, but they weren't sure whether they were Harry's, Meghan's, or indeed just crew members or somebody visiting. It was never really established. But as they pointed out to me, if that was the case, and he was such a proud father, surely he would have taken them round the crew. Now, they all signed down to NDAs, and they're not allowed to talk about working behind the scenes, and as ever, allegedly, of what it was like being with Meghan Markle. But what was fascinating was the fact that she literally reiterated this. Now, if this is the case, and she's bringing the children to the set, you can imagine how frustrating, annoying, and infuriating this must be for the big bucks people behind that particular TV show, the streaming giant Netflix. So once again, a natural tease, but sadly, nothing for the viewer. And boy, did the viewer need something to distract away from those ever so unhelpful tips, some people might say. Neil Sean on the back of a big red London bus.